Welcome back, Year 2. Now today we're going to be creating a portrait a bit like this in the style of Sandra Silberzweig, the artist, and we're going to be using our oil pastel techniques that we started to learn about last week, and we'll also be thinking about how we use the colours in our colour wheel. Okay, so let's get to work. Now the first thing we need to do is look at the equipment you will need. So you will need your sketchbook or a piece of white paper. You also need your oil pastels and a black marker pen. And of course you need a piece of test paper to clean your oil pastels to check the colours that you've got. I've also got a copy of the colour wheel because I'm going to be using that to help me use the right colours in my portrait. But it's up to you. You don't need to print it off. You can just look at it on the Firefly page. Okay? So the first thing we need to do, Year 2, is we need to create the outline of the face. And what I've done is here, now this page is also on the Firefly page. Both of these pictures are on the Firefly page, so you don't need to print them off. Here I have some examples of Sandra Silberzweig's portraits, and they're just here to give me an idea of how to create the face shape, how to create the outline of the face. Now I can see that in many of the portraits there's a line that starts right at the top of the page and turns into the nose, and I think that's going to help me to organize my page. I can also see that the face takes up the whole piece of paper, so I need to remember that when I create my face. So let's get going. So I'm going to pop that there just so I can refer to it. It's off the screen for you, but I've got them there to look at. So I'm going to start by just finding the middle of my page and just drawing a line. I think I'm going to draw it right down to about here. And then from that line, I'm going to start creating the nose. So the nose, in many of her portraits, is shaped a little bit like an L. So there's my L-shaped nose, okay? And then I want to add the eyes. Now the eyes are always in her portraits very big, very wide. They look a little bit sleepy. You can see that the eyelids comes quite low down on the eye, and it makes the characters look a bit sleepy. You can also see that the eyes aren't always symmetrical. They aren't always the same on each side. So I'm going to show that in my work. And I'm going to start by doing an eye over here. And then I'm going to add to it an eyelid. I'm going to put the shape of the pupil in, and then I'm going to add another line. And then I think around it, to make it really stand out, I'm going to do a big circular shape like this. And I think I might just add zigzag eyebrows, and then maybe some more zigzags up here that start on the nose. Now it's up to you to think about what you want to do. Remember to look at Sandra Silberzweig's examples to give you ideas. And then I'm not going to put my eye opposite the other. I'm going to put it just a little bit lower to make it look a little bit more unusual, just like Sandra Silberzweig did in hers. So put in the eyelid, I'm going to put in the pupil shape, and then I'm going to add another line. And then I think I'm going to do some eyelashes. Not eyelashes like we know them, but eyelashes in the style of Sandra Silberzweig. I can see those sorts of eyelashes here. Okay, so I'm going to pop those into my eye shape. Okay, I think I'm happy with the eyes. Now, if you notice, her portraits are divided into sections. So we've got sections, square sections, where there are different colours of pastel. So I'm going to do that as well. I'm going to divide, oh no, first of all, before I divide the face, I'm going to create the head shape. So by drawing just the chin line and the cheek line underneath, I'm going to add a body shape. And then I think I'm going to do the outline of the top of the head. I'm just going to add some lines, just like over here you can see Sandra Silberzweig has added some lines at the top. There I go. And then I'm going to leave this side and maybe later add some different colours. So I'm going to break up that box so that later I can add various colours in that place. Okay, and I think I'll do just, there's quite a lot of space there, so I'm going to add another line, and maybe I'll put in some pattern that I will colour in later. Okay, oh, so now it's time for me to divide my face into sections. So I'm going to do a line there, I'm going to do a line there, and I think I'm going to do one at the top of the nose like that. And then last of all, I'm going to add a mouth shape. And if I look at the mouth shapes, they're often quite small, quite curved looking. So I'm going to do a curved looking mouth like that. Okay. And I think I'm happy with my outline. Okay, maybe I might add, no, I'm happy with it. Okay, so that's your outline done. And now it's time to think about colouring the big areas of the face. So you can see that I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 main sections of the face. And what we're going to do for these sections is we're going to use analogous colours. Now, if you remember year 2, analogous colours are the 3 colours sitting next to each other on the colour wheel. So, for example, in this section here, I think I would definitely like to have a red colour. So if I put my red pastel on the colour wheel, I could either add the pinky colour and the purple, those would be analogous colours, or I could go the other way and I could use an orange colour and then a sort of yellowy colour, roughly. So I think I'm going to go this way. I'm going to use the pinky colours. So I'm going to just use 2. I think I'm going to use the analogous colours, red and purple. So I'm going to remove the pink. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to, very carefully using the edge so I don't go over the lines. And then once I've got a little bit more space, I'm going to turn my pastel round and make sure that I'm colouring in exactly the same direction all the time. Okay, now I'm not going to fill the whole of this space. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add the red, and then I want to add my analogous colour with the red, which is going to be the purple. And I'm going to colour over the top of some of that red and then fill in the rest of that space. And see, I'm moving in one direction with my hand all of the time, backwards and forwards. Okay, now I've layered the red and the purple there, but I want to blend. So if you remember, you use the tip of your finger and you blend the 2 colours together. And if you remember, it means that the colours gradually change from red to purple. So I've used my first analogous colours. Okay, I'm going to try another section. I'm going to use analogous colours in this section. But this time I think I'm going to use bluey colours. So I'm going to put my pastel here, my blue pastel here, and then I need to find the analogous colours. So I could either choose these two colours, or I could move this way, and I think this time I'm going to move this way. These are my analogous colours. And I only want to use two analogous colours, so I think I'm going to use the dark blue and the light blue. So here I go. I'm going to start again by just colouring about half of the space. And remember, moving in one direction all the time. Okay, right into the corners. Take your time so that you keep it nice and neat, and try not to leave any gaps in your colouring. Right across, there we go, right into the corners, fill in any gaps that are created. There we go. So now I need to use the analogous colour which goes with the blue, and that is the light blue. So here I go. Remember, I'm going to layer the two colours in the middle so that they overlap. And then once I've done that, I can fill in the rest of the space. Okay, so I've layered the two colours in the middle like we talked about last week. And now it's time to blend. So I take the tip of my finger and I blend the two colours so that they gradually change from dark blue to light blue. Okay, now I'm not going to finish my colouring of those 4 sections. I'm going to leave you to experiment with the analogous colours. Remember, it's really helpful if you have printed off your sheet. You can lay your pastels out on the colour wheel to check what your analogous colours will be, and then you choose 2 of those analogous colours to use on your portrait. And we're talking just about the 4 main squares on the face, and then the neck and the body shape as well. Okay, all the other little details we're just going to use one colour to colour. So I'm going to say now that I'm going to imagine that you have your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections coloured with analogous colours. Then all of these details, so let me just put in my analogous colours would go here, they would go here, and they would go here. Okay, now all of the other little details like the mouth, the nose, the eyes, and these shapes, I'm just going to use any colour I want to. So for the eye, I'm going to do the eyelid a light green. Now remember, can you see how I'm keeping my hand off the paper? Because if I put my hand on the paper, my work is going to smudge and I'm going to get colour all up my arm. So you need to raise your hand off the paper to keep it nice and neat. Okay, there we go. And then I might choose a pink to go around the pupil. And then a yellow to go around there. But I'm going to leave you to colour those sections. Remember, you can choose any colour you want. Also, I forgot one thing, is that you can use your analogous colours in this section and this section too. Okay, so you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 areas where you're using analogous colours when you have 3 colours together on the colour wheel. Okay, so let's imagine that you have done all of the basic colouring on your portrait. The next job you need to do is add the pattern. Now, if we look at Sandra Silberzweig's work, you can see it's full of pattern. It's full of short lines, short strokes, it's full of circles, it's full of spiral shapes, it's full of geometric shapes, so circles and squares. It has dots, all zigzags, all sorts of pattern, and so that's what we need to do. Now, if you want to, it's a good time now for you to use complementary colours. Remember, complementary colours are colours that are opposite each other on the colour wheel, and they really stand out from one another. So if I look at this section here, I've got blue. So if I get my blue pastel and put it on there, I can see that a complementary colour, the colour on the opposite side of the colour wheel, will be orange. So if I want the colour to stand out in my pattern, I'm going to use orange, and I think I'm going to do just short lines like this. That's my first pattern. And you can see that the orange really stands out clearly on the blue background. Okay, let me look at these colours here. I've got red, so let me get my red crayon, my oil pastel, sorry. And then I'm looking for the colour opposite that, which is green. So green and red are complementary colours, and they will stand out when you put them together. So I'm going to take the green and I'm going to do zigzag patterns in this area, and you can see the green is standing out well on the red background. Okay, now you can add whatever pattern you like. I would say though that you don't want to add pattern in every box. Maybe you do pattern in 3 boxes and then leave those boxes without, or maybe 2 boxes without pattern and the rest with pattern. Okay, I would have a look at this example of Sandra Silberzweig's work and look at the types of pattern that she has added to her work. Now, I'm just thinking, once you have added your pattern, I think that means you will have finished your portrait. Yes. So in the process of doing your portrait, you have layered colours together, you have blended colours together, you have used analogous colours that sit together on the colour wheel, and you've used complementary colours that are opposites on the colour wheel. And I am so looking forward to seeing your lovely work, year 2. So please let me see your work. I also hope that you have a lovely holiday, because it's coming up to holiday time, and I look forward to seeing you after the holidays. Bye for now, year 2.